Hello and welcome to Tarot in 10, the Tarot mini lesson every Tuesday. I'm Tamara DeGaia. My specialties and passions are herbalism, tarot, and more. I've been teaching classes and running groups on both of those topics for a very long time, and you can find out more at tamaradegaia.com. Today, we are talking about things to consider when reading tarot for yourself. And of course, this is an important topic because how else do you learn tarot other than learning to read for yourself before you read for others? And so let's talk about things that are important to consider when you're reading for yourself. First of all, I want to mention that if you create a foundation where you have become comfortable with your tarot by doing your tarot reading for yourself as a daily practice, that's either for insight into your day or for self-improvement, creating that foundation will be extraordinarily helpful when you read for yourself or others. Because when you create this foundation by drawing a card or two or three for yourself every single day, you really start to create a relationship with your cards. And by that, I mean, you really start to get to know them and what they're trying to tell you. And that makes it a little bit less likely that you're going to, put on your rosy glasses when you're reading for a topic that's really near and dear to your heart. That's maybe a big decision for you. And that can be a downfall when we read for ourselves. And I'll talk more about that. I do also want to mention that part of your daily practice, it's really good to have as meditation as part of your daily practice also. The reason for that is because in order to have a meaningful tarot reading, what separates a meaningful tarot reading from a random tarot reading is intention. And there have been some studies that have actually proven this, that those people who have a meditative practice with tarot, who take time to ground themselves and ask a question before they shuffle their deck and do a reading, those readings are non-random. But if you don't do that, then you might be less likely to get the cards that you needed to see. So practice your meditation. Now, I'm going to tell you that most of us, when we first started learning about meditation, learned the way that it was taught by monks living in temples. And most of us aren't those people, right? We're living in the modern times and we have a lot of distractions, and it's a different place, it's different time, we're different people. There's a wonderful resource I always recommend to people, and it was written by Camilla Roche. It's called Meditation Secrets for Women. And I don't think that book is just for women. Actually, I think it's for anybody who wants to expand their meditation practice and look at meditation maybe in a little bit of a different way. So I do recommend that. Even if you can just set aside 5 or 10 minutes a day to meditate, then focus on what you're doing your tarot reading for, shuffle your cards, draw a card, and then the card that you're getting is meaningful, and you can trust that the card that you're getting is the card that you needed to see. Do that on a daily basis, and you will have created a foundation for accurate tarot reading, not just for yourself, but with others as well. So let's talk about expectations. One of the potential pitfalls of reading for ourselves is that our own expectations can influence both the cards that we draw and how we interpret them. And so it's a good idea to be aware of what your expectations are going into a reading for yourself, and just understand that those can color your reading. The other thing that can really color our readings for ourselves is if we have a strong attachment to what we want the outcome to be. Buddhists say that disappointment comes because we are attached to an outcome, and unattaching ourselves from an outcome helps us to have a reading that is more objective and more accurate. So let's talk about some tips for overcoming these potential pitfalls for reading for ourselves. So the first tip is calming yourself and your environment. Don't do a tarot reading for yourself if you are highly emotional. You just got into a big fight with your significant other. By golly, I'm going to do a tarot reading about this. No, don't do that. Take some time, calm yourself down, and also set up your space to help you create an environment that is conducive to an accurate tarot reading. You might light a candle, have your stones that mean something to you, anything else that means something to you around your space, and take some time. Calm yourself, calm your environment before you do a reading for yourself. The question is really important. Make sure that you're asking a question that is specific and not a yes and no question or a should I question. Those are not the best questions for the tarot anyway, and especially not when you're reading for yourself. Instead, maybe ask about, so let's say you had a fight with your significant other. The question maybe is, what do I need to know about our relationship? How can I make a difference in this relationship? And you could ask, what's my next step? What step do I need to take in order to move this relationship in the direction it needs to go for my highest good? And that is really key. That's part of that non-attachment to the outcome, right? Your question needs to be phrased in a format that is really for your highest good. Possibly this relationship isn't for your highest good. We don't, I don't know. And sometimes you don't know, because a lot of times when we're in our own relationships, in our own lives, we can't see the forest for the trees. And that's one of the things that tarot is so very good at. It's very good at calling us on our stuff, our shit, and helping us see the forest as well as the trees more clearly, as well as helping us find a path through that forest, right? So be considerate when asking the question. What question do you really need to know? Use a simple spread. I always say it's really best to use 2, 3, or 5 card spreads. That's generally what I would recommend. A lot of times I will pull 2 cards for a particular position in that spread. So like for past, I might pull 2 cards. For present, I might pull 2 cards. For advice, I might pull 2 cards. And then maybe for outcome, I might pull 1 card. And in that way, 2 cards together give you really more of a story than 1 card does. 1 card can give you a lot of information, but 2 cards together create a story. And so I really like to do that. And I really do like that 2 cards for the past, 2 cards for the present, 2 cards for advice. What do I do to move forward for my highest good? And then 1 card for outcome. It's a very simple layout, very simple spread. It works for pretty much everything. And it gives you a lot of information to work with without being too unwieldy. And look at those 2 cards together in each of those positions and see what story they're telling you. Use a simple spread. I don't recommend the Celtic Cross. I think it's unwieldy. It can be too complicated. And really, what do you really need to know? You don't need to know 50 things. You need to know a few things. Give me a clear picture of what's going on here. Tell me how to move forward, right? And what can I expect? A lot of times I also like to, I'll actually talk about that later. Release. So releasing your attachment to the outcome is really what I mean by release. Releasing any need to have a particular outcome or see a particular card. You really want to open your heart and your mind and allow what needs to come to come. Trust that if you have centered yourself, grounded yourself, you're not in a high emotional state, you are in a calm state, you're grounded, you've shuffled while you are asking the questions and you lay out your spread, trust that you got the cards that are answering the question that you asked. Trust in that. Do not be tempted to draw card after card for clarification. If you need to draw a card for clarification, go ahead and do it, but don't draw more than 1 or 2 for clarifications. Trust that the cards that you laid in that spread are the cards to answer your question, even if you're not understanding it right off the bat, okay? Proactive empowerment. Make sure that whether you're reading for yourself or other people, that you give yourself or the other seeker, that we're talking about yourself now, give yourself something to do for proactive empowerment. Really, tarot is about empowering you. Ask the cards, what do I need to do now to shift the energy in this situation for my highest good? Draw a card or draw 2 cards to tell you a bigger story. that's your task. That's what you do. That's what you do to move forward. And then you reflect. You think about that. You write about it. You journal in your tarot journal about what those cards might mean for your situation. Couple of extra tips. Don't reread for the same issue unless at least a month has passed or something has significantly shifted in that situation. Okay. And the reason for that is because it's just like changing your hairstyle and expecting a life transformation. It's not going to happen. It's surface. You have to give things time, and you don't want to keep asking your tarot the same questions. Do what it told you to do and see what shifts, all right? And then wait 30 days. Or if something shifts, go ahead and read again. Another kind of extra tip is that I love to draw oracle cards with tarot cards, especially as the theme. So, for example, if you're doing a reading for yourself that's a deep and meaningful reading about something that is dear to your heart, draw an oracle card first to give you an overall theme of the reading, and then do your simple tarot reading. That helps to pull things together, and that right there acts as a clarifier for the entire reading. For example, actually at our Tarot Explorers Club just the other night, we did a reading for a person in the group, and it was just, there were pentacles all over the place. And so people were reading and suggesting what those might mean in relationship to the person's question. And then the last card was a theme card, the Oracle card. And I drew a card from the Earth Magic deck, and it was the card of Gaia. Wow, that shifted the entire reading. This reading wasn't about, it was about what she wanted to do for her basically her path in her future life. Not just her job, but basically where she wanted to go with her growth and where she wanted to take her business. And so this wasn't about money. This wasn't about household. That's oftentimes you would think about pentacles. This was about earth connection, right? This was about sensuality. And so that shifted everything because the oracle gave us really the key to the theme of the entire reading. So I love doing that. I recommend trying it. I'll be interested to hear what you think about that. Please put down in the comments how that works for you, how any of this works for you. I want to hear, and if you have any other suggestions. The other tip I have for you is to ask for additional insights after you have already reflected on it yourself. Spend some time in reflection yourself before you ask other people for additional insights. Now, where can you ask for insights? Well, there are a couple of Facebook groups that I run for tarot, and we have the Tarot Explorers Club community. Any of those places you can ask, or if you have other friends who do tarot, that's what I'm talking about, is getting feedback, taking a picture of your spread saying, here's the spread positions, here's the situation, here's what I think it might mean. What do you guys think? So after you do your own reflection and interpretation, then ask for other insights. You sometimes can be amazed at what comes. If you didn't draw your own oracle card, you could ask somebody to draw an oracle card from their deck to give you clarification on your reading also. So there's a lot of interesting ways to work with that. The very best way to learn tarot is by practicing tarot with other people who like tarot. And that's why we have Tarot Together Explorers Club, where we meet every week, almost 4 times a month for Zoom practice. I do tarot lessons. I mail out a weekly Wayfinder Gazette with all kinds of wonderful tarot tips and treasures. And I hope that you will try it out and join us. The first month is completely free. You can find out more at tarottogether.com. I hope this was helpful. May all your life be luminous.